Hi there and welcome to this bonus episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out Show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette, joined by my regular partners here, former Canadiens teammates and 1986 Stanley Cup champs, Chris Nilan and Rick Green. Rick, I recently asked Alexandre Carrier who is the funniest player on the Canadiens, and he responded with a chuckle, "You mean after me?" And then he said, "No, the funniest guy in the team is Cole Caulfield." Rick, who was the funniest teammate you ever had? Is he sitting right here? Is he?
a guy named Brian Scrudland. This guy was, not to mention he talked too much, but he was really a character. I mean, he used to torment the opposition with some lines that I wish I recorded, but he was priceless. And, you know, doing things sometimes like ringing my doorbell on Nuns Island one time and hiding behind a tree and hanging his bag of dog poo, on the door handle. He was constantly doing different things, and he made it really fun to be around and quite a character.
Yeah.
Knuckles?
Matt Snaslin. No. Matt's always come in the room. He looked like he just woke up. He did. From under the pillow. He would come in. You had to. It was like pulling a tooth with long roots. You couldn't get it out. Like Matt's was always like, ugh. But I love Matty. Brian Scrudland. Yeah. Greeny's right. I'm going to see Screwy out in Saskatchewan this week, and he is just one funny bastard. It's like, right, you don't miss the playing, you miss the camaraderie and the togetherness that you had as teammates and that family type atmosphere. And Screwy's one of those guys, man. He's a glue guy. And he's one of the funniest. Mind you, Rick, with his dry sense of humor, is pretty goddamn funny himself.
Well, we did on occasion have a few laughs, but we don't need to go there because some of the stuff is not.
But don't worry. The statute of limitations is up on all that.
Well, Scrudland goes to our barber now too, Rick. So you got to like that about him.
Yeah,
I'll tell you a funny Brian Scrudland story. The '86 Stanley Cup parade. You guys obviously remember. You were in it. It's about 1,000 degrees that day. You guys were riding convertibles, and the cars were moving at a snake very slowly along St. Catherine Street. And Scrudland was in one of the last cars. I think he was with Mike Lawler, and he had his glasses on, and he looked like a professor more than a school teacher, not a hockey player. And he got out of the car. And he started walking along the sidewalk. So my buddy and I were there, and where's he going? So we followed him, and he went into a tavern on St. Catherine Street. And he walked in, and he's talking to the waiter, and he's saying, I'm in the parade, I'm with the Canadiens, my wallet's at the forum, but I just need a beer, and I'll come back, and I'll pay you after. And the bartender's looking at him like, "You're not a Canadian, I don't recognize you." So my buddy said to him, he says, "You're Brian Scrudland, right?" He went, "Yeah." He says, "We'll buy you a beer, but you got to sit and drink it with us." So we bought him a quart. And he sat and drank it pretty quick with us, and then he went back, walked through the crowd, and got back into the convertible, and away they went. So that's a day I'm sure you guys remember too.
That was awesome. I was with Cabo and Mario Tremblay, the three of us.
Oh, there's a trio.
A lot of fun. Never forget it.
So Rick, who after Scrudland, who would be the second funniest teammate that you had?
Well, I think we touched on it before. The guy that we look at here on this show. I don't know how many nights that we would eventually get back to the hotel and have some pretty good giggles the next morning, because it was just nonstop shenanigans that went on. Thank goodness nobody got hurt, but my goodness, we had a lot of fun and a lot of.
We had a few laughs in the cab in L.A., right? Remember the cab ride in L.A.? How about at Thursdays, the night I was spitballing? I'd see a guy across
downstairs, the old downstairs at Thursdays.
And I would see a guy across the bar. I'd say, "Greenie, watch this." Right in the forehead, right? It'd be like, and we'd be, hey.
And it was so smoky, nobody could see where it was coming from, except Knucklehead was, straight face sitting in the corner. Anyways,
Yeah, you probably had to duck down there, Rick. I remember the roof in that place was about 6
Yeah,
feet
you hit
high.
your head on it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it just so happened it was on my way home that I'd stop in there just out of, out of habit. But
One quick beer, right, Rick?
That's right.
Yeah.
We could have had him. We played the next night, so we'd have to be home. by 11.
Greeny would often in the old Cadillac. We'd drive up Maisonneuve, and he'd drop me off at 21 Atwater at about 3:00 in the morning, maybe 3:30, and then I'd see him for practice at 10.
That was the apartment building right beside the forum.
Yeah, I took
right?
the elevator to practice every day. Down I went. I walked across Maisonneuve, and I went right in the door there on Atwater. And there's so many mornings there when I picked my spots, but I had a pretty bad headache, and I stunk of alcohol.
Well, I know a lot of you guys former teammates were together at the home opener in the Loge, and it must be so much fun when you guys do get the chance to get together. Are most of the stories about off ice stuff or on ice stuff when you guys
Hardly ever on ice.
Yeah, all the good memories.
The amazing thing with our group was when it didn't matter what you did the night before, it was all about performing the next day. And we had a group of guys that sometimes I would wonder if they're even going to show up for the game, and they'd end up, being first or second star because they didn't want to let the rest of the team down. And we just had that type of character and that kind of group, which is hard to replicate.
I think Chris Chelios was one of those guys, wasn't he?
Shelley, you kidding me? The best. Shelley was awesome.
Anyway, that's it for this Hockey Inside Out Show bonus episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. This is our third and final one of the week. We'll be back with our regular weekly Hockey Inside Out Show next Wednesday and 3 more bonus episodes. We'll talk to you soon.